Okay, here we are again. Just me, the bike and the washing. So today I'm going to try and fit some cheap Chinese speedo to the GS. Why? Because my one's busted. I think the innards have become stuck, so it's the needle's sticking. So I thought, oh well, two options: I could try and fix it, or I could just stick a new one in with a bit of bling on it. So I thought, oh, I'll do that. And so I've got this one, some no-name Chinese junk. Why am I going with this one? Because we don't make them over here, so that's all I've got to work with. I won't bother to put a link in the description because it's just some cheap junk, so that's cool. So I'm going to, it's a wee bit big, it's a wee bit small to fit in there, but I'm going to use a strip of, some weather strip, and put that behind it. That should work quite well. Certainly better than the one that came out of there anyway, it was perished, so that's good. I'll just pull the backlight out. I don't need it anymore. What I will do is I'll try and retain, hang on a sec. Okay, I'll pull the bulb out, backlight bulb out, I'll just leave it there, because the idea is I'm just going to leave it stock, just in case I can put it back together again. So I'm not going to remove anything, I'm just going to try and fit this thing in. Bit of consternation when I discovered that in fact the only way to reset the tripometer, whatever you want to call it, trip, is to press these things which are on the back of the thing, but fortunately, as you can see, there's a little hole in the back, and consequently this thing fits just spot on, and you can't see it, but you can actually reach the two buttons from the back of the instrument cluster, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm just going to assemble it. It's not going to be that interesting to watch, so I'm just going to assemble it and fire it up, and we'll see if it works. It's one of these GPS ones. It comes with a lump of wire you put along your bike, and so the speed depends on the GPS signal. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've cut it to length. This will go there, and then we'll put the speedo on top like that. And as far as the cheap Chinese goes, it is all in Chinese. Owner's manual, can't make out much of it. Wiring diagram, so it's got this thing, plugs in the back of the speedo, 3 wires, blue, red, orange. Blue goes to ground, red goes to ignition or switched 12 volt, and the orange, God knows what that's supposed to represent, but some sort of switch or a fuse, or a switch and a fuse to the battery, but I don't know why it does that, so I might just tie the red and the orange together and take the blue to a local ground, and the red and the orange I might actually just splice straight into the old backlight. I'm just going to see how much this thing draws, and see if the circuit is actually supposed to handle the current draw. If so, I'll do it, otherwise I'll just run the entire thing back to my aux fuse block. According to the wiring diagram, everything on that instrument cluster shares a common bus except for the turning lights, turn signals, and they all come via that 20 amp fuse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat slightly. I'm just going to use the speedo illumination feed, 12 volt feed, and just run it off that. See how that works. If it blows the fuse, I'll be quite surprised, but if it does, that's fine. I'll just run a separate fuse directly to the battery, or rather, I'll just run a wire to the aux fuse box, and that's fused anyway, so I might do that anyway. It's only a wire. Just try not to run more wires south down the bike. No, I think I'll try doing this first and see what happens. Yeah, so the final decision is I'm going to take this bulb out and I'm going to splice black and white to the blue and the grey to both the red and orange. That will save me having to run any wires at all down the bike, and I'll get a switch 12 volt for both the backlight and the main feed to the speedo. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with this GPS wire. Okay, speedo's in. In the end I went with I just cut a piece and there's got a bit of a gap there, but I don't really care. Gives it some character. So speedo's in. Just what I'm going to wire it up to, so they're all just already there. Just going to do them. Put the instrument cluster back on. Here's my GPS wire. All, God knows, 3 meters of it, I think. Something it's huge. Just going to stick it over here. Some inconspicuous place. Zip tied in place. And I'm going to polytane the tank off. I could just run this wire across and under the tank somewhere. They haven't really decided where yet. Probably not on this side, probably on the right hand side where everything else goes. Probably down that side. And it's got to come up somehow. Might follow where my USB charger's gone. Yeah, it's got to come up behind here and into the back of this thing, just there. That should, yeah, it's got to go through this here, I think, unless there's a gap, there's a big enough gap. I think there might be a big enough gap. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Okay, so I run the GPS to this position. Cable comes down here, along here. Follows the normal cable runs up, follows USB, comes up the back and comes out here, already plugged in. Okay, this is the result. It still looks a bit icky at the top there because there's a bit missing, which I'll redo that, but apart from that I can reach behind it, set, switch, change the colour, or mode, changes the odometer, the type of trip. So you can have one that's, I think it's goes every time you start the bike, or you can mode 2, which means that the keeps going until you reset it. Okay, that's it.